Hi, I welcome you to a brief but elementary information session on diet of the new time. My name is Rosemary Wagner. Right nutrition rules, and especially the actualized scientific knowledge, reduces the fearsome symptom cycles of diseases such as cancer, multiple sclerosis, skin diseases, rheumatism, and arthritis, as well as metabolic disorders and many more. The appropriate and right-adjusted diet favorites and accelerates the recovery process of any symptoms. It helps to optimize the networking of food with biochemical processes in the body. It regulates and a targeted weight, and the rapid healing progress is guaranteed. In large companies, an adapted nutrition program for employees is a necessity for good concentration, physical health, avoid absences, and maintaining a high performance. One of the main focuses in the work of me is to work out nutrition programs for individuals and groups for the best issues. Also to adjust the scientific knowledge with the psychosomatic concerns for a holistic approach that helps to activate the self-healing and to prevent illness. The salvific combining conventional medicine with spiritual healing is my goal. In my life as naturopathic professional of 20 years, I'm used to think beyond mind. It is the mind that reflects the symptoms to the body. I'm aware that sometimes it seems to be hard to follow the changes, but if you need a good result, you will notice that it is the right path. So we'll come to the food of the new age. I would like to talk about nutrition, dietetics, nutritional supplements, and additives. A disease can have many fathers, but the mother of each disease is the wrong nutrition. This is a Chinese proverb. Nutrition is a big and complex issue. It is also a critical issue because everywhere is told something else. All the women are told they should drink plenty of milk, so they get a lot of calcium. The men were said to eat more meat because of the testosterone and practicing more frequent sex up to 15 years of age, so they support the prostate. The children are told to drink plenty of milk and plenty of meat to get enough muscles, and so on. Below, I want to introduce some of the content of this presentation. For one of these points, I usually need a module of 2 days. Therefore, I will keep myself today superficially and then answer, if necessary, the questions. If you have further interest in specific topics, I will give more lectures or you reach me at my office. During my practice activity of 20 years, I have accompanied patients with different diseases, some chronic conditions, some because of heart defects or disabilities, and often preventively, and also some with cancer. The nutrition diet has been shown to be one of the main pillars for the conservation and restoration of health. What is a healthy nutrition? What makes you fat and what keeps slim? Are light products really light? Why can you eat a lot without gaining weight? Relationship between disease symptoms and food intake? Our state of mind before, during and after dinner. And how about a person that gain weight only by looking to food? Healthy food and unhealthy food? Nutrition as a prevention. And the new wave is vegetarian or vegan food okay? Foods that can cause depression or avoid it. What is brain food, muscle and joints food? Additives and the resulting diseases? Impression of the 4 characteristic metabolism types, about intolerances to gluten, lactose, and fructose. Nutrition professionals usually do not use the term healthy foods because the fact that a food is healthy or not will very much depend on how much we eat and how often, what our nutritional needs are, what else we eat in the diet. There is no single complete food that provides all the nutrients we need, so including a variety of different foods like vegetables, whole grains, fruits, dairy products, legumes, lean meats, poultry and fish, and enough fluids like water. And watching portion sizes is key to a healthy diet. Healthy eating and lifestyles are important to how we feel, look, and how much we enjoy life. Eating a healthy diet will reduce the risk of disease such as heart disease, stroke, obesity, or diabetes. Whole food diet is a primarily lacto-vegetarian diet form, preferably in the foods that are processed as little as possible. Mainly, it consists of whole grains, vegetables and fruits, potatoes, legumes, pulse. The learning goals for these presentations. You get an overview for foods that contributes to a good metabolism. You distinguish the effect of foreign protein, and also you know the effect of the body of often used additives, and so on. A picture of how we get influenced by the foods. A small seed, corn, that is put into the earth to thrive and becomes an edible plant is already surrounded by the energy field of the accomplished plant, for example, a lupin. This seed does not thrive to a rose or a carrot. Her energy field is of a lupin. Now it depends on the diet how beautiful and healthy prospers this lupin. Do you feed her with sour water or poor materials, which she cannot use? Then she develops itself still to a lupin, only not quite as nice. Now it depends of the food, how beautiful and healthy prospers this lupine. The same happens with us, with every being on earth. Every human being starts by being a little egg that develops itself through all stages of earthly existence. Everything, every kind of energy, mental like thoughts, physical like nutrition, remedies, influence this energy field and contribute to its development. The same with animals. The less good influence from the food like additives, remedies, industrialized wet animal proteins as also stress or grief play a major role in the growth of every being and influence this energy field. There are different metabolic types of constitution, and therefore also different diets. With this knowledge, by conscious lifestyle and with a right diet, you can avoid health risks like diabetes, gout, rheumatism, arthritis, reduce blood pressure problems. You can avoid overweight and make significant contributions to the health and performance. The way you eat, so you will feel. Health and well-being depend in large part on how one eats. Often small changes in dietary habits contribute to making you feel much better. But what you eat and the constitution of daily diet, it affects not only directly to the relevant form on the day of, but also contributes to the long-term help to improve quality of life and to maintain fitness and health into old age. It also extends the period of life. The 4 different metabolism types. Different types of constitution requires different diets. How is the weight distributed on the body, the proportions, the total appearance? The gonad tip. It increases in the hips and thighs. It stands for sacrifice. Have a lack of confidence in their own abilities. sticking to outdated thought patterns. The gonad type, it is similar to the adrenal type, but they should also avoid fat, milk products, and spicy foods, because both also contribute to obesity in addition to meat. The hypophysial type, gain weight everywhere evenly, cherishes and conservations of anger and rage, overburdened often by exaggerated self-responsibility, collects tasks for self-affirmations. The hypophysial type should, however, avoid all milk products and restrict carbohydrates to lose weight and eat more protein to lose weight. The thyroid gland tip increases mostly on upper body and neck, the man standing in life, conducts and delegates much, governs the house, the men and the children, and is domineering. The thyroid type increases mostly by carbohydrates, precisely through the concentrated such as sugar and white flour, malt. They lose easily and for best weight by a protein-rich diet and less carbohydrate food. The adrenal type gain weight, especially in the abdominal region, suffers from the duality principle. That means the game with you and me. Recognize our own strengths and weaknesses and live fear. Condemn itself and others. The adrenal type increases just by eating meat and carbohydrates and lose easily weight, naturally more healthy like fruits and vegetables, and low fat dairy products. When you look at these different recommendations, all this dietary which are given without regarding to the blenderer type, for example, can at best help by chance, and the best chance is that you gain more weight. If you keep in mind your glandular metabolism at the same time with your appetite habits, is your basic nutritional type, you can maintain your ideal weight and remain healthy. It is much easier to recover from flu if you respect these aspects. 9 body systems determine your nutritional needs. The autonomic system. This is part of the nervous system. Disorders of the autonomic systems can affect any body part or process, influenced, for example, by a diabetes. The autonomic disorders may result from other disorders that damage autonomic nerves, such as diabetes, or they may occur on their own. Autonomic disorders may be reversible or progressive. The endocrine system, it means the hormonal balance. Slim as well and full-figured people can have a lot of visceral fat. This visceral fat produces hormones which affect negatively the regular hormone levels. Blood group influence. Is the blood group 0, A or B or AB? For example, people with blood type A have little acid in stomach and therefore cannot digest well the animal protein. The metabolism of their protein causes an accumulation of uric acid crystals in the joints. Strict sports stress their bodies, and it responds by collecting tissue water. In the end, they gain more weight and pain by making strong sports. The best sport for type A are gentle sports like yoga, tai chi, and so on. The burn system. The burn system is the kind of digestion and the basic metabolic rate. The catabolism. It is the reduction of metabolites, and the anabolism, structure of metabolites. The acid-base balance. Excess acidity, for example, by eating too much foreign protein. The prostaglandin balance. Progesterone-prostaglandin balance influence the lymphocyte function. And cause edema. Mineral water resources. The mineral and hydration is important for physical and mental performance. And the constitutional, like Vata, Pitta and Kapha. This comes from the Ayurveda philosophy. The state of mind affects the capacity of the brain, and the brain stimulates these 9 systems of our body to work on. You are what you eat. Why you get appetite? The appetite from Latin means desire for food. The appetite occurs in the limbic system. This is a functional unit of the brain, responsible for the release of endorphins, the body's own morphine. So our appetite is controlled by our mood. Your sense of taste requires food that comes your constitution closest. The sadness lacks the sweetness of life, like sugar, chocolate, sweets and alcohol is sugar. Sadness, anger, is tuned by sharpness, meat, spices and savory dishes. When you are sad, angry and upset, then you need to digest these emotions consciously or subconsciously. But you cannot touch or handle these emotions. Your brain offers you this opportunity, in which it converts into food, just as when you bite purely in a fried chicken thigh. What types of foods do you know? Perhaps you think first at meat, bread, vegetables. And surely you're right, but there are 3 different kinds of food. The material food, precision food, like above mentioned, and the mental food, like love, passion, but also worries, thoughts, anger, stress, grief, deflections, and the spiritual food, like also a kind of great love, healing light, ancient wisdom, different awareness levels. If you watch sometimes your own habits, you will see that when you are passionate for someone or for a job or something else, you forget to eat. You are just full of favor. Our own habits, like eating in front of TV, less sports, fragrant meals, etc., define our body and health. Many people like to eat in front of TV. Why? With the television, we become overfed. The body tries to digest this mental food and converts them in real food, like chips, popcorn, sweets, or other food. We do not realize that we eat twice, mentally and physically. The second point, the mental food makes you choose your food by the influence of your brain. Other 3 different material food characters. The carbohydrate are first digested in the mouth by chewing and metabolized in the small intestine. Precursor of vitamin B12 is formed by chewing in the mouth. A good chewing takes 50 times a bite, not 15. Fat. Fat is 10% digested in the stomach and then metabolized by the gland juice in the small intestine. Protein is digested in the stomach and metabolized with the help of the pancreas and gallbladder in the duodenum. Pancreas is the biggest digestive gland in the organism. The carbohydrate is an overview, like a monosaccharide, simple sugar, fruits, honey, grapefruits, lactose, disaccharide, double sugar, sugar, canned sugar, beer, all milk products. Then oligosaccharide, multiple sugars, like crisp bread, nutritional supplements, malt. Polysaccharide, like polysugars, white, potato corn, starch, grain products, dietary fibers, and meat. During a diet, for example, you should reduce the simple carbohydrates or even exclude and rather resort to complex, like long-chain polysaccharide carbohydrates, the last longer saturated. Fats. Saturated fats. For example, coconut butter. HDL is a high-density lipoprotein. These particles carry cholesterol out of the body and solve it from the walls of blood vessels. LDL, this is the particles for low-density lipoprotein, transport cholesterol into the body and accumulate in the walls of blood vessels. This increases the risk of developing atherosclerosis. Therefore, is LDL referred to as bad cholesterol. Isolated carbohydrates, white flour, sugar, starch, as they can be found in cakes, pasta and bakery products, sweet pastries, sweets, snacks, and so on, ensure high triglyceride levels. The carbohydrates bound to fats causes overweight and high cholesterol. The unsaturated fats, non-essential fat acids, essential fat acids, and those unsaturated fats collect the carbon out of the blood, like omega-3 and 6 fat acids. For example, hemp oil, rapeseed oil, walnut oil, linseed oil. The linseed oil with the very highest omega-3 content. The most balanced oil is olive oil. By collecting the carbon, the blood gets a better pH value. That means less hyperacidity, less arthritis, less pains, less fatigue, less inflammations. It strengthens the body against cancer. Omega-6 and omega-3 fat acids are important components of the cell membrane, are required for growth and tissue repair and for the synthesis of other important fatty acids. Omega-3 fat acids protect for fatal heart disease and have an anti-inflammatory effect of all kinds of inflammations. The main thing is the balance between omega-3 and 6 in the oil. Missing fats promote depression, mood swings, emotional flashes, constipation, colon ailments. Trans fats are a subgroup of the unsaturated fatty acids. They are of very special harmfulness and originate from industrial oleochemical fat processing. Trans fatty acids you avoid easiest if you don't consume finished products that contain in some kind industrially processed fats, as confectionery, crisps, chips, pizza, baked goods, and so on, and especially margarine. All trans fats are carcinogenic. They rob important minerals and bind vitamins. These fats you should avoid. All hardened or partially hardened fats. The most used of these fats is margarine, all refined oils, all odorless oils and fats, all heating oils which are rich in polyunsaturated fatty acids, all overheat fats, rancid fats, all oils in plastic bottles, and trans fats. Protein. Amino acids, they are the smallest elements of our cells. Animal protein is a foreign protein for our body. Animal protein contains significantly more sulfur-containing amino acids than plant protein, which leads to the formation of fixed acids. Those acids burden the kidneys because of the high methionine level. This kind of methionine is different from the plant protein and is split in homocysteine. And homocysteine is one of the strongest poisons in the body that causes joint inflammations, stomach upset, visual disturbances, loss of libido, vitamin B deficiency, and oxidative cellular stress. All rheumatic problems and skin disorders are associated with the consumption of meat and milk. Vegetables protein, the common protein to our bodies, like plants, vegetables, fruits, legumes, nuts, lentils, beans, chickpeas, peas, buckwheat, amaranth, rice. Vegetables protein charge much less the body than animal protein. To take vegetable protein means to reduce the risk to acidify the body and prevent disease. Vegetable protein is rich in carbohydrates and fiber, and your body absorbs fewer fats by eating vegetable protein. Vegetable protein reduces cancer. Different proteins are not digested the same manner. Plant proteins are very light and do not need to be metabolized below pH value of 4.5. Unless we eat a lot of nuts, then we need a slightly deeper pH value. To digest animal proteins, we need a lot more acid. An egg, for example, needs a pH value of 1.5. That's very, very sour. This means that we need a much longer time to digest a protein, because at a pH value of 1.5, the enzyme pepsin in the stomach is significantly out of its goal. The digestion consequently takes a long time. Meat. The liver in the organism of human beings is not equipped to process the uric acid in the stomach during digestion of meat, which can lead to rheumatism, arthritis, gout, liver cancer, pancreatic cancer, and so on. In the stomach of a carnivore, it has a lot of concentrated hydrochloric acid to digest tough animal muscle. Man has a 20 times weaker stomach acids than carnivores. In addition, produced meat during digestion stimulate metabolites, which have carcinogenic properties. The kidneys of an average meat eater afford 3 times as much as that of a vegetarian. The pancreas must therefore produce more own enzymes, which it is gradually overused and weakened. Then it's not far to the outbreak of a disease. All predators in nature have a very short intestine, 3 times as long as the body, through which the meat is moved in about 3 hours. Since meat spoils very quickly and is even more toxic, they can excrete it again as quickly. When our food needs too much the work of the pancreas, it will lead to a weakening of the immune system. Diseases such as shingles, viral diseases, influenza, and body aches as neck pain are often led back to a lack of digestive juice. But above all these, we need enzymes, the smallest worker and magic sticks in the body. Enzymes split our food up to digestible water-soluble molecules. For the foreign protein, such as meat or milk, our body does not produce this kind of enzymes. Respectively, the source around it created by foreign protein paralyzes the enzymes and cannot affect their work. The body digests or burns a great part of these proteins by extremely sport activity and movement. In many cases, a digestive or espresso is drunk after a heavy meal of meat or cheese. Supposedly, it is believed that the digestive or espresso improves digestion. False. The pylorus between the stomach and duodenum, which ensures that only the smallest digested proteins leave the stomach, is tuned by the alcohol or coffee. In consequence, it permits to anything to pass through. This leads to accumulation of undigested material in the small intestine and deposition in the colon. Flatulence, indigestion, and fullness till cancer development are the result. Protein intake. We need very little proteins. According to the World Health Organization's American Institute, an adult needs only 0.75 gram of protein per kilogram of body weight. For a person weighing 70 kilograms, the organism needs per day just 52.5 grams of protein. 150 gram beef has already 33 grams of protein. 100 gram cheese has 36 grams and protein. 100 gram soybean, 37 grams of protein. In the West, we eat 3 to 4 times more protein than needed. These extra proteins have to be converted into ammonia, uric acid, so-called poisons that have corresponding negative physical effects until they are excreted. As a result, there is an increase from visceral fat, abdominal fat, and other reactions. The more protein is consumed, the more sinus infections exist and the eyes were watering. The skin has a lot of more impurities and the people get more acne and pimples, like cake sprinkle face. There is an association between the animal protein consumed by pregnant women with the disturbances in the growth of their children's bones and allergic dispositions. For over 15 years and more and more children are treated in hospitals under 5 years with fractures. Normally, children suffer a green stick fracture and now bones fractures. A green stick fracture remains completely. Only single fibra can tear. This is considered due to a demineralization of the bones. This results from the diet with extra protein during pregnancy and thereafter by the milk consumption of the child. Essential phosphates and calcium is removed from the child's skeleton by the metabolism from the foreign protein. An example of protein content and the required time to double the birth weight. As you see, the meaning of protein intake and this assisted development that I have explained above. The excess of protein, therefore, does not only harm the kidneys, but also the brain activity and the entire organism. Now you can follow the meat consumption in grams per day. As you see in Japan, the lowest appearance of colon cancer and the highest in New Zealand. For Switzerland, it's about the consumption like France. The next, you see the lymph gland cancer, also known as non-Hodgkin. It is quite a similar diagram. On the second page, you will see the osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is caused by a number of things, one of the most important things being too much dietary protein. This is from the American Journal of Nutrition already in 1974. The three highest diseases were the heart disease, blood vessels, and cancer. What was the reason, the cause? You see, nutrition was number one, is the main reason for the disease. Then smoking, alcohol, infections. Number one was consequently the lifestyle, diet. When we adjust our lifestyle, many of these problems disappear. To get more power, humans ate more meat and drank milk. The higher consumption of animal protein caused a large number of diseases. The International Nutrition Research Center. You see, on the yellow is the nitrogen waste, and the blue one is the net nitrogen utilization. You can watch the difference between the yellow part and the blue part. The first pillar, it is an extract of beans and is nearly 100% the net nitrogen utilization for our body. You see the whole chicken egg, it takes take a little time and watch the pillars. If we take foreign protein like eating meat, the body has to process that. For carbohydrates or fats, these are stored as glycogen, stored in muscles, liver, skin. Protein is different. It cannot be stored. This is needed, transformed, built in cells, or added for each process in the body. The body is forced to convert protein in something that can be stored, like amino acids. The most part of foreign amino acids, for example, is bound to sulfur. Amino acids, as the smallest constituents of proteins, are fully present in our bodies. Now, if other proteins must also be incorporated, which are first reduced to amino acids, then this corresponds to a mass immigration of strangers that brings the metabolism out of balance, similar to the states with the invasion of refugees. Various foreign amino acids join the endogenous amino acids and form new connections. These novel compounds produce, among other things, ammonia gas, a strong poison that leads to colon discomfort and to respiratory disorders. Also, it means that cells are destroyed and in an anaerobic condition, such as in the intestine, and this leads to a cell proliferation, like a tumor. An overview: how do you replace proteins? You can watch top 10 sources of veggie protein, like spinach, kale, and broccoli, and mushrooms. Other sources of protein, like hemp seeds or beans, green beans, quinoa, and leafy greens. The phytochemicals and health. The health benefits for breast cancer, prostate and other cancers, heart diseases and stroke, osteoporosis, menopausal symptoms, brain disease linked with aging, alcoholism and inflammatory diseases such as rheumatoid arthritis. Enhancement of activity through combinations in natural foods. Written in the medical journal from 1994, flavonoids can increase the reducing capacity of vitamins 20 to 50-fold. A positive side effect of these nutrients is that they themselves act as antioxidants and, amongst other characteristics, also lower blood pressure and glucose levels. High sources of vitamin E, for example, in white germ oil or sunflower oil, also in sunflower seeds, all roasted, almond butter, and curcumin, blueberries or mustard green. And the antioxidant top 10 fruits and vegetables, for example, like strawberry, also garlic under the vegetables, or plum, and the great one is kale, and so on. You will see orange or red grapes as fruit, spinach and Brussels sprouts, till to tomatoes and corn. Phytoestrogen deficiency, a major cause of modern diseases. Imbalance in estrogen are strongly linked to many major Western diseases, including heart disease and cancers such as prostate and breast cancer. Excess estrogen can promote the growth of cancer. What are phytoestrogens? Phytoestrogens are natural plant molecules similar in shape and size to the human's body estrogen, but not identical. This slight difference means they don't have all the same effects as estrogen, luckily, since some of the effects of estrogen can be nasty. A phytoestrogen-rich diet is against, for example, dementia or Alzheimer's disease. It helps the immune system and against alcoholism. It supports the body in fighting against cancer of prostate, breast, colon, or against leukemia. It improves blood vessel elasticity and also the heart disease and strokes. It reduces blood cholesterol and reduces plaque formations in blood vessels and prevents blood clotting. On the next page, you would see the food sources of cancer-fighting phytochemicals, like, for example, the processed sprouts with the phytochemical cinegreen and broccoli with sulforaphane against the sulfur building by the digestion of animal protein, and broccoli, for example, or red grapes, and so on. On the next list, you will see the distribution of some of the major cancer-preventing phytochemicals in food plants. Just take a little time to watch the green tea, soybeans, grains, and cruciferous and umbelliferous phytochemicals. Also the distributions against of some other major cancer-preventing phytochemicals in food plants, like citrus, solanacea, cucurbitacea, licorice, and flaxseed, for example. On the next page, you see the cruciferous vegetables that are often used as nutraceutical against cancer. On the following slides, I would like to show some forms of cancers caused by the consumption of animal protein and excluded from the benefits of phytoestrogens. The prostate cancer death rate. As you see, there is a number of deaths per 100,000 men. For example, in China, South Korea, and Japan, there are countries with a high phytoestrogen-rich diet. Against the United Kingdom, Australia, and USA, where you see the countries with less phytoestrogen diet. The bowel cancer. High intakes of soybeans and tofu give an 80% reduced risk of cancer of the rectum or lower bowel. Phytoestrogens can reduce the number of aberrant crypts. Phytoestrogens may be effective only in blocking the early rather than the late stages. Skin cancer. Phytoestrogens can protect against the harmful effects of UV radiation from sun exposure. In a study performed by the US Army, it was found that rats exposed to little doses of X-rays all survived if they were fed phytoestrogens in their diet, whereas those eating regular food all died. Soy phytoestrogen genistein blocks the growth of skin cancer cells called B16 melanoma cells in mice. Cancer of uterus, 54% reduction in risk. Stomach cancer. Regions in Japan that have a high tofu intake have the lowest rates of stomach cancer. On this list before you see, vegetarians have greater endurance. The high protein and high fat diet is by 0.95 hours of endurance, and the vegetarian diet, high carbohydrate, is by 2 hours and 78. Now we come to the brain food. There are 5 important nutrients for the brain: slowly released carbohydrates, essential fatty acids, amino acids, vitamins, and minerals. For faster thinking, you may prefer the complex carbohydrates, which are particularly abundant found in cereals, potatoes, and vegetables. They bring a lot of vitamins, minerals, and fiber with itself. Walnuts, vegetables, potatoes, carrots, hazelnuts, lentils, peas, whole grains, cabbage, beans, sorghum, tomatoes, brown rice, green leafy vegetables, and legumes. Brain diet. Avoid alcohol because the perception is suffering much from it, and the memory and spatial orientation. Nicotine leads to lessening the brain power and demonstrate the latest scientific studies. To support your brain with essential foods for your best career, you guarantee proper feeding of the 5 essential foods for the brain, like carbohydrates for a balanced blood sugar levels, the powerful that drives the brain, essential fatty acids, a thick skull is a clever mind, phospholipids, memory molecules that give the brain a boost. This is the lecithin E322. Nuts, soya, oil. This is the white germ oil. Amino acids, the building blocks for the chemical messengers of the brain. And vitamins and minerals, the smart nutrients that optimize the brain's work and let the brain run around. Avoid anti-nutrients, substances that damage the brain, like refined sugar. These are carbohydrates without essential nutrients, or damaged fats from fried foods to hydrogenated fats, synthetic food additives, like colors, flavors, and stabilizing, toxic minerals, from mercury to copper, food allergens. These are in ordinary foods like glutamate, flavor enhancers, and the one allergic reacts. Muscle food. The best muscle food, the best protein, comes from beans. Black or white, kidney beans, tofu, nuts, or tempeh is a kind of tofu. Chickpeas, broccoli, quinoa is a pseudo-cereal rich of ferrous and folic acid. Lentils, potatoes, oats, rice. To build muscle, it is important to note your blood type. Blood group 0 can make a lot of physical training and deal right with a lot of protein and foreign protein. His stomach has enough acid. Blood type A tolerates sport on the pulse limit. That means yoga, tai chi, Nordic walking, light jogging, and so on. Otherwise, his body reacts with stress and retains water in the tissue and leads to joint pain. He cannot digest foreign protein and moderate protein. Has little stomach acid. Blood type B can do well and a lot of sports. Tolerates protein, little of the foreign protein. Has sufficient stomach acid. AB, blood type is similar to A. Lightweight, conditional training, but on the pulse limit. Not tolerate foreign protein and has sufficient stomach acid. Now we arrive to the test enhancers. For example, like aspartame. The structure of aspartame seems simple. Two isolated amino acids in aspartame are fused together by its third component, a deadly methanol. In this structure, methanol bonds the two amino acids together, but when released at a mere of 86 degrees Fahrenheit, that means about 30 degrees Celsius, the methanol becomes a poisonous free radical. Our body temperature is 36 degrees. Methanol breaks down into formic acid and formaldehyde, embalming fluid. Methanol is a dangerous neurotoxin, a known carcinogen, causes retinal damage in the eye, interferes with DNA replication, and causes birth defects. Aspartic acid makes up 40% of the structure of aspartame. Under excess conditions, the structure of aspartic acid can cause endocrine, hormone disorders, and vision problems. Aspartic acid is a neuroexciter, which means its structure affects the central nervous system. Hyperactivity is stimulated by aspartic acid, so the structure is not good for ADD and ADHD conditions and should be avoided during pregnancy. Adverse reactions to aspartic acid are headaches, like migraine, nausea, abdominal pain, fatigue, sleep disorders, vision problems, anxiety attacks, depression, and asthma, tiredness. The second isolated amino acid in aspartame's chemical structure is phenylalanine. 50% of aspartame is dry D structure. Too much phenylalanine causes seizures, elevated blood plasma, is dangerous for pregnancy, causing retardation. PMS, the premenstrual syndrome caused by phenylalanine's blockage of serotonin, insomnia, and severe mood swings. Aspartame and phenylketonuria. This sugar substitute, sold commercially as equal and NutraSweet, was hailed as the savior for dieters who for decades had put up with saccharin unpleasant aftertaste. There are quite a few problems with aspartame. The first is phenylketonuria, PKU. 1 out of 20,000 babies is born without the ability to metabolize phenylalanine, one of the two amino acids in aspartame. Toxic levels of this substance in the blood can result in mental retardation. Beyond PKU, several scientists believe that aspartame might cause altered brain function and behavior changes in consumers. And many people have reported the following side effects from aspartame: a fibromyalgia syndrome and symptoms of fibromyalgia, multiple sclerosis symptoms, dizziness, headaches, menstrual problems. On the next page, you have a view of the additives, affiliations, and health risks. Some words about coffee. Coffee stops the production of enzymes in the brain, and less enzymes means less digestion. Now, some words once again from a Chinese proverb. What the intestine does not cure, that heals the liver. What the liver does not heal, that heals the kidneys. What the kidney does not heal, that heals the lungs. And what the lungs does not heal, that heals the skin. What the skin does not heal, that leads to death. Some words to our fearsome or heme iron and vitamin B12. The heme iron is bound on vitamin C and is efficiently to store in the cells by using both together. Vitamin B12 is built by the acid in stomach. Precursor of vitamin B12 is built in the mouth by a pH value more than 4. By chewing the bit many times to 50 per bit, you digest and insalivate food. The more you reduce acid. The more acid in the mouth and stomach, the less bacteria. This means more alkaline, the more bacteria. A meat eater has pH value of 1 to 3, so he needs to take antacids. But before this, they have big problems caused by less vitamin B12. B12 is, among other things, the most important vitamin for cell division and consequently for the oxygen transport. Less vitamin B12 means a series of diseases of the immune system like gastritis, indigestion, skin rashes, fatigue, burnout symptoms, but also hyperactivity.